Liam walked alone through the dense forest. The morning air felt crisp against his skin as sunlight filtered through the tall pine trees. He had been hiking this trail for years, but today something felt different. He could not explain the strange feeling in his chest, like he was being watched. His backpack contained just the essentials: water, some energy bars, a small first aid kit, and his trusty compass. He planned to reach the mountain peak by noon, where he would eat lunch while enjoying the view of the valley below. As he rounded a bend in the trail, a flash of blue light burst from the sky above the trees. Liam froze, squinting up at the strange glow. It pulsed once, twice, 3 times, then expanded into a circle of shimmering energy. This can't be happening. He thought his first instinct was to run, but curiosity rooted his feet to the ground. The light grew brighter, until he had to shield his eyes with his arm. When he looked again, a beam shot down from the circle, striking the ground, only 20 feet ahead of him. The forest floor beneath the light began to shimmer and fade, revealing a metal platform that had not been there before. Liam backed away slowly. His heart pounded in his chest, but before he could turn to run, the beam widened and engulfed him. His body tingled as though thousands of tiny bubbles covered his skin. The forest around him faded from view. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. The world went white. Then Black Liam woke with a gasp. His body lay on a smooth, cold surface that hummed with energy. He blinked several times, adjusting to the dim purple light that filled the room. Where was he? What had happened? He sat up slowly, checking himself for injuries. Finding none, he surveyed his surroundings. The room was circular, with walls made of some smooth material that seemed to shift and move like liquid metal, but remained solid. A single door with no visible handle stood on the far side. He stood on shaky legs and approached the wall, running his fingers along its surface. It felt warm, almost alive beneath his touch. The material rippled at his touch, then settled again. Liam tried to remain calm. Think, he told himself. There has to be a logical explanation for this. Maybe I fell and hit my head. Maybe this is all a dream. The door slid open with a soft hiss, interrupting his thoughts. Liam jumped back as a figure entered the room. She was tall, at least 7 feet, with slender limbs that moved with strange grace. Her skin shimmered with a faint blue glow that reminded Liam of the light he had seen in the forest. Her face was almost human, but her eyes were entirely silver, with no visible pupils or whites. Her nose was small and flat, and her mouth was wider than a human's. Her long fingers nearly touched her knees as her arms swayed with her movement. She wore flowing robes that seemed to change color as she moved from deep purple to midnight blue. Her hair, if it could be called that, resembled fine silver threads that floated around her head as though underwater. Liam backed away until he hit the wall behind him. "Who are you?" he managed to ask, his voice shaking. "Where am I?" The being tilted her head, studying him. Then she touched a small device attached to her robes. It glowed, briefly, and she spoke. Her voice sounded melodic, almost like singing. "I am called Nyx," she said, the device translating her words into English. "You are aboard our research vessel in orbit around your planet." Liam struggled to process her words. A spaceship. Orbit impossible yet. Here he stood facing a clearly non-human being. "Why am I here?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Nyx moved closer, her movements fluid and graceful. "We have been observing your species for many cycles," she explained. "We detected something unusual in your genetic pattern, something we have been searching for." Liam frowned. "What are you talking about?" Instead of answering, Nyx touched another control on her device. Glowing bands appeared around Liam's wrists, binding them together, though he could still move his arms. "I cannot explain further at this time," she said. "You will remain here until our tests are complete." "Tests? What tests?" Liam pulled at the bands, but they held firm. "Please, I need to go home. People will look for me." Nyx shook her head. Her silver hair swirled around her face. "No one will find you here, and time passes differently in our vessel. What seems like days here will be mere hours on Earth." She turned and moved toward the door. "Wait," Liam called. "You can't just..." Leave me here. Nyx paused and looked back at him. Rest human, she said. You will need your strength. Then she was gone. The door sliding shut behind her. Liam rushed to the door but found no way to open it from his side. He was trapped. Hours passed or what? Felt like hours. Liam had no way to track time in the featureless room. He paced, examining every inch of the walls, floor and ceiling, looking for any weakness, any way to escape, but found nothing. Eventually, exhaustion overtook him, and he sank to the floor. His mind raced with questions and fears. What did these beings want with him? What tests were they planning? Would he ever see Earth again? He must have fallen asleep, because suddenly he jerked awake as the door slid open again. This time, 2 beings entered. The first was Nyx. The second was similar in height, but her skin had a pale green tint with gold flecks scattered across it like stars. Her eyes were gold instead of silver. The green being carried what looked like a small seashell made of crystal. She approached Liam, who scrambled to his feet, backing away. Do not fear, Nyx said. The device translated her words. This is Lyra, our chief geneticist. She will not harm you. Lyra held out the shell, like device. It opened in her palm, revealing a small orb that glowed with soft white light. She spoke, her voice higher pitched than Nyx but still musical. This will not hurt the geneticist, said through the translator. It will simply read your genetic code more thoroughly than our initial scans. Liam hesitated. Why are you doing this? What do you want from me? Nyx and Lyra exchanged glances. Then Nyx spoke. Our species is facing extinction, she explained. Our abilities, the essence of what makes us who we are, is fading with each generation. We search the galaxy for compatible genetic patterns that might help us restore what we are losing. And you think I have this pattern? Liam asked. Lyra nodded. Your DNA contains sequences we thought lost forever, she said. You cannot access them, but they lie dormant within you. You are 1 in 10 million among your kind. Liam tried to comprehend what they were saying. He had always felt ordinary. Nothing special. Just a guy who enjoyed hiking and worked a desk job in the city. The idea that he contained some alien genetic code seemed impossible. If I cooperate, he said carefully. Will you return me to Earth? Nyx tilted her head. That depends on what we find. But yes, if you are not what we seek, you will be returned unharmed. Liam considered his options. He could continue to resist, but what good would that do? He was clearly at their mercy. And if cooperating meant a chance to go home, fine, he said. Do your test. Lyra approached and held the glowing orb near his chest. It hummed softly, growing brighter. The light spread over his body, bathing him in warmth. It lasted only a few seconds, then faded. Lyra studied the shell device, now glowing with complex patterns. Her gold eyes widened. She turned to Nyx and spoke rapidly in their language. The translator did not interpret. Nyx stepped forward, her silver eyes fixed on Liam. What? Liam asked. What did you find? Nyx seemed to hesitate, then said, You have exceeded our expectations, human. The patterns we seek are not merely present in your DNA. They are complete, intact. The full sequence we thought lost to time. And that means, Liam prompted. It means, Nyx said, her voice taking on a new tone, almost reverent, that you will not be returning to Earth. Not yet. We have much to learn from you, and perhaps much to teach you. Liam's stomach dropped. No. You promised. I said if you were not what we seek. Nyx corrected. But you are precisely what we have been searching for across thousands of worlds. The bands around Liam's wrists suddenly released, falling away. He rubbed his skin where they had been. Consider yourself a guest now, Nyx said, not a prisoner. You will be given comfortable quarters, freedom to move about certain areas of our vessel, and the opportunity to learn about us as we learn about you. Liam felt dizzy with this sudden change. If what they said was true, he carried something in his very cells that these advanced beings desperately needed. But what exactly did that mean for him? And could he trust them? Lyra approached and offered him what appeared to be a small crystal, "Pendant, come," she said. "We will show you to your new quarters. Then we will begin to explain everything." Liam hesitated, then took the pendant. It glowed warmly in his hand. "What is this?" "A key," Nix explained. "And the first step in understanding who you truly are." Liam followed Nix and Lyra through corridors that seemed to shift and change as they walked. The walls pulsed with soft light, and the air smelled like cinnamon and ozone. He clutched the crystal pendant in his hand, still unsure if he was a guest or prisoner. Despite their assurances, they passed other alien women. Some looked similar to Nix and Lyra, while others had different colored skin or additional features. All stopped to stare at Liam as he walked by. Some whispered to each other in their musical language. "This is the habitation section," Nix explained. "These are the quarters of our research team. More than 200 of our kind live aboard this vessel." 200. Liam tried to imagine the size of the ship. "Are there no males of your species here?" Lyra made a sound like tinkling bells, which Liam realized was laughter. "Males are rare among our kind," she explained. "They remain on our homeworld for protection. Our species has a ratio of 1 male to every 50 females." They stopped before a door that slid open as they approached. Inside was a spacious room with curved walls that shimmered with the same shifting patterns as the rest of the ship. A large window revealed the blackness of space dotted with stars. A bed, or something like it, stood against one wall beside what appeared to be a desk and chair, though their forms were strange and fluid. "These will be your quarters," Nick said. "The pendant will open this door and give you access to the common areas. Food and drink will be provided according to your biological needs." Liam stepped into the room, still overwhelmed by everything happening. "You still haven't told me exactly what you want from me." Nix gestured to the chair. "Rest first, then we will explain." She and Lyra left the room, the door sliding shut behind them. Liam sat on the edge of the bed, which molded to his form, creating a comfortable support. He stared out the window at the stars, trying to process everything. Too exhausted to think clearly, he lay back and closed his eyes. He woke to a soft chiming sound. A panel on the wall glowed with symbols he didn't understand. Liam approached it cautiously. As he reached out, the panel changed, showing images of what looked like food and drink. Touched one of the images, a section of the wall slid open, revealing a small compartment containing a bowl of something that resembled fruit and a container of clear liquid. Liam sniffed the food. It smelled sweet and fresh. He took a small bite. The flavor burst in his mouth like a mixture of peach and strawberry. The liquid tasted like water but left a pleasant tingling sensation on his tongue. After eating, Liam explored his room. He found what seemed to be a bathroom, though the fixtures were strange, a shower that sprayed mist rather than water, a toilet that had no visible plumbing. Everything clean and efficient. The door to his room slid open, revealing Lyra. She stood in the doorway, her green skin shimmering in the soft light. "Are you rested?" she asked. "As much as I can be," Liam replied. "Given the circumstances." Lyra nodded. "Follow me." "It is time for you to understand." She led him through more corridors until they reached a large circular chamber. Dozens of alien women worked at strange consoles. Some manipulated holographic displays while others studied samples in transparent containers. Nick stood in the center of the room, directing the activity. "This is our primary research laboratory," Lyra explained. "We study genetics specifically, the genetic markers that give our species its unique abilities." Nix noticed them and approached welcome Liam. She said, "I trust you have rested." Well, Liam nodded. "Now please tell me why. I'm here. What do you want from me?" Nix gestured to a large display. In the center of the room, images appeared showing what looked like strands of DNA, but with complex patterns Liam had never seen before. "Our people were once great sorceresses," Nix began. "We could manipulate matter and energy with our minds, create and destroy with thought alone. Our abilities allowed us to build a peaceful civilization, spanning multiple worlds." The display changed, showing beautiful cities with floating structures and gardens that seemed to defy gravity. But over time, our powers began to fade. Nix continued. Each generation grew weaker than the last. We discovered that the genetic sequence that allows these abilities was degrading, breaking down. Something in our environment, perhaps, or simply the passage of time was causing the loss. The display showed the DNA strands with sections highlighted in red. We searched for a solution, Lyra added. We explored thousands of worlds looking for compatible genetic material that might help us restore what was being lost. Most species were too different, their DNA incompatible with ours. But then we found Earth. The display showed images of Earth seen from space, then closer views of forests, cities, people. Humans share a surprising amount of genetic similarity with our kind. Lyra explained, though you look different on the outside, your basic genetic structure is remarkably compatible. We began to study humans in secret, taking samples, observing. And you found me? Liam said. Nix nodded. We found many humans with fragments of the sequences we seek. But you have the complete sequence intact, dormant but present. You are 1 in 10 million. Liam, among all the humans we have secretly tested, you are the only one with the full genetic markers we need. Liam tried to process this information. The idea that he somehow contained alien DNA seemed impossible, and yet here he was. What do you plan to do? Liam asked. Extract this DNA study. Study it? Yes, Nick said. But more importantly, we hope to learn how to activate it in our own people by understanding how it exists in you. Lyra touched a control and the display changed, showing a scan of what Liam assumed was his own body, with certain areas glowing brightly. The sequence exists in you, but lies dormant, she explained. You cannot access the abilities it should provide, but we believe with the right stimulus, the right training, perhaps you could. And if you can, then we might save our species. Nix finished. Liam felt overwhelmed. The weight of their expectations pressed down on him. If what they said was true, these beings saw him as the key to their survival. What if I refuse to help, he asked. What if I just want to go home? Nix and Lyra exchanged glances. We would be disappointed, Nix said. But we would not force you. We are not conquerors or kidnappers, despite how our first meeting appeared. We are scientists seeking answers. Liam walked to a window that showed the vastness of space. Outside, stars twinkled in the darkness. Below, he could see the curve of Earth, his home, floating blue and beautiful. If I help you, Liam said carefully, turning back to face them. Will you share this knowledge with me? Show me how to use these abilities you claim I have. Nix seemed surprised by the question. We can try, she said after a moment, but human minds are not structured like ours. It may be impossible. He'll take that chance, Liam said, making his decision. I want to understand this power you say I have, and if I can help your people in the process, maybe that's worth staying a while longer. But I want your word that when we're done, you will return me to Earth. You have my word, Nick said solemnly. So when do we start? Liam asked. Lyra stepped forward. Now, she said. She held out her hand, revealing a small device shaped like a seashell, similar to the one she had used before. This will help us map the neural pathways in your brain. It will not hurt. Liam hesitated, then nodded. Okay, Lyra placed the device against his temple. It felt warm against his skin. For a moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly images flooded his mind. Memories, both his own and strange ones he had never experienced. Colors and sounds, sensations he could not name. His body tingled with energy. He gasped as the device was removed, the sensation fading slowly. Interesting, Lyra said, studying the shell. Very interesting. Your neural structure is different from ours as expected, but there are surprising similarities in key areas. The potential is there. Another alien woman approached. Her skin was deep purple with white, patterns that seemed to shift and move. Her eyes were dark blue. She carried what looked like a small crystal cube. This is Vela. Nix introduced her, our neural specialist. She will help design your training program, Vela. studied Liam with obvious curiosity. "The human brain is fascinating," she said, her voice deeper than the others. "I have studied your species from afar, but never had the opportunity for direct examination. Your kind uses such a small percentage of your neural capacity. Yet in you there are signs of unusual activity in regions typically dormant in humans. Is that good or bad?" Liam asked. Neither Vela replied. "It simply is, but it suggests potential." For the next several hours, Liam underwent various scans and tests. The aliens were gentle, but thorough. They took small tissue samples, extracted a few drops of blood, measured his brainwaves as he performed simple mental tasks, all the while explaining what they were looking for and why. By the time they finished, Liam felt exhausted, but also strangely excited. The idea that he might possess abilities beyond normal human capacity, that he might learn to use them, was both frightening and thrilling. Lyra escorted him back to his quarters. "You should rest," she said. "Tomorrow you're real." Training begins. Before she could leave, Liam asked her a question that's been bothering him. "Why me? What makes me so special? How did I end up with this alien DNA, as you call it?" Lyra paused, considering her answer. "We do not believe the DNA is alien. To you," she said carefully. "It is as much a part of you as any other gene you possess. Our peoples likely share a common ancestor from long ago. Perhaps visitors from another world seeded both our planets. Or perhaps life evolves along similar paths. Given similar conditions, the universe is full of mysteries we have yet to solve." With that, she left Liam alone with his thoughts. Morning came, announced by a gradual brightening of the light in Liam's quarters. He had slept surprisingly well considering the circumstances. He showered in the strange mist that left his skin tingling and clean, then ate the food that appeared. In the wall compartment, as he finished eating, the door slid open, revealing Lyra. Her green skin seemed to glow more brightly today, the gold flecks catching the light as she moved. "Are you ready to begin?" she asked. "As ready as I can be," Liam replied. "What exactly will we be doing? You will see," Lyra said with a gesture that he should follow. She led him through the ship to a section he hadn't seen before. The corridors here were wider, the walls a deeper shade of blue that almost seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They passed through a set of large doors that opened into a vast chamber. The room was circular with a high domed ceiling that displayed what looked like a star field, slowly rotating. Above the center of the room floated a sphere of energy that pulsed with different colors. Surrounding it were several platforms at different heights connected by bridges that appeared to be made of light. Nyx stood on the central platform. She wore different robes today, silver and white, that flowed around her like water. Her silver hair floated above her head, moving in unseen currents. Beside her stood Vela, the neural specialist, and 3 other alien women Liam had not met before. "This is our training chamber," Lyra explained, as she led Liam toward the central platform. "Here our young ones learn to harness their abilities, and here we hope to awaken yours." Liam walked carefully across the light bridge. It felt solid beneath his feet, despite its appearance. When they reached the platform, Nyx greeted him. "Welcome, Liam," she said. "Today we begin to explore the potential within you. These are my sisters." She gestured to the 3 new aliens. "They will assist in your training." The first had pale blue skin with darker blue patterns. Swirling across her surface, her eyes were the color of ice. She bowed slightly to Liam. "I am Mira," she said, specialist in energy manipulation. The second had skin the color of amber. Her eyes were deep green with vertical pupils like a cat's. "My name is Kira," she said. "I focus on matter transformation." The third was the most unusual. Her skin shifted colors constantly, never settling on one shade. Her eyes were completely black, without even the silver or gold irises the others had. "I am Zara," she introduced herself. "My specialty is mental projection." Liam nodded to each in turn, unsure of the proper greeting. "Now," Nyx said, "we must first determine if the dormant abilities within you can be accessed. While the genetic markers are present, we do not know if your human physiology will allow their expression." "How do we do that?" Liam asked. Lyra approached holding another shell-like device. This will temporarily stimulate the neural pathways associated with our abilities. She explained it will. Give us a glimpse of your potential. Is it dangerous? Liam asked. There is always risk when manipulating neural pathways, Vela said. But we have studied your brain structure thoroughly. We believe the risk is minimal. Liam hesitated, then nodded. Okay, let's try it. Lyra placed the device against his forehead. At first, Liam felt nothing. Then slowly warmth spread from the point of contact flowing through his body. His vision blurred the world around him, becoming hazy. The floating energy sphere above them seemed to grow brighter, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. Then something shifted inside him, a sensation like a door opening in his mind. Energy rushed through him. His skin tingled. His vision sharpened until he could see details he'd never noticed. Before the microscopic patterns in the alien's skin, the individual particles of light that made up the bridges, and he could feel something else. The presence of the aliens around him, not just see them, but sense them. Their thoughts were closed to him, but their emotions radiated like heat. Their curiosity, their excitement, their hope. The sensation lasted only moments, then faded as Lyra removed the device. Liam swayed slightly, feeling suddenly drained. Nick steadied him with a hand on his shoulder. What happened? He asked. What did I do? Nix exchanged glances with the others, her silver eyes wide with what Liam thought might be surprise or even awe. The sphere, she said. Look at the sphere. Liam looked up. The energy sphere that had been floating above them had changed. Its colors had shifted to include streaks of gold and red that hadn't been there before. And it had grown larger. You connected with it. Mira said, her voice filled with wonder. Without training, without preparation, your mind reached out and touched the energy matrices that good Liam asked. Still feeling disoriented, it is unprecedented, Nick said. In our children, such abilities take years of training to manifest. You did it instinctively. Liam felt a mixture of pride and fear. What does this mean? It means Lyra said that the potential within you is greater than we anticipated. Your genetic structure not only contains our markers, but they appear to be naturally integrated with your human physiology in ways we didn't expect for. The next several hours, the aliens ran more tests. They had Liam sit in the center of the platform while they monitored his brainwaves. They exposed him to different types of energy fields, recorded his responses. They asked him to focus on simple tasks like visualizing light or sensing the presence of objects hidden from view. By midday, Liam was exhausted, his head pounding with the effort. But the aliens were ecstatic. Their tests had confirmed what the first experience suggested Liam possessed: the ability to access and manipulate energy in ways that should have been impossible for a human. We should continue tomorrow, Lyra finally said, noticing Liam's fatigue. The human needs rest. Nix agreed reluctantly. Tomorrow we will begin actual training, she said, as Lyra led Liam back to his quarters. He struggled to process everything that had happened. The idea that he possessed some kind of psychic or energy manipulation ability seemed absurd, yet he had felt it, the power flowing through him, the connection to the energy sphere. What exactly can your people do with these abilities? He asked Lyra as they walked. You mentioned manipulating matter and energy. But what does that mean? Practically, Lyra considered the question. At our height, we could reshape matter with thought alone, she explained. Create or destroy with a gesture. Heal injuries instantly. Travel between worlds without ships by folding space. Our civilization was built on these abilities, and now they're fading. Liam said, yes, Lyra. Confirmed. Each generation is weaker than the last. Soon we may lose them entirely. That is why you are so important to us. Your genetic structure may hold the key to restoring what we are losing. When they reached his quarters, Liam had one more question. Will I be able to do those things? Move objects, heal people, fold space? Lyra tilted her head. Perhaps, she said, but human physiology is different. Your brain structure, your nervous system, they are not designed for such abilities. The fact that you can access them at all is remarkable. Whether you can master them remains to be seen. After Lyra left, Liam lay on his bed staring at the ceiling, his mind racing with possibilities. If what they said was true, if he could learn to use these abilities, what might he accomplish? What might he become? He held up his hand, staring at it, remembering the feeling of energy coursing through his veins. He concentrated, focusing his mind as the aliens had instructed during the tests, visualizing energy flowing from his core to his fingertips. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a tiny spark, a flicker of blue light danced across his palm. It lasted only a second, then vanished. But it had been real. He had created it with his mind. Liam gasped, his heart racing. He tried again, focusing harder. This time nothing happened. The ability, whatever it was, eluded his conscious control. But that brief moment, that tiny spark changed everything. He knew now without doubt that the aliens were telling the truth. He did possess these abilities, and with their help he might learn to master them. The next morning, Lyra came for him earlier than before. Her expression seemed troubled as she led him not to the training chamber, but to a different part of the ship. "What's wrong?" Liam asked, sensing her concern. "There has been a development," she said. "We have detected another ship approaching ours. It is not of our kind. Is that unusual?" Liam asked. "Extremely," Vela said, joining them as they walked. "Few species possess the technology to travel between star systems as we do, and fewer still would venture this far from the established trade routes." They entered what Liam assumed was the ship's command center, a large room with multiple control stations all staffed by alien women. A massive view screen showed the blackness of space, with Earth visible as a blue orb in the distance, and approaching from the right a small red dot that grew larger as he watched. Nyx stood before the screen, her posture tense. "They have scanned us," she said to Lyra and Vela. "They know what we are and what we carry. What does that mean?" Liam asked. "Who are they?" Nyx turned to him, her silver eyes reflecting the red light from the screen. "They are the Drakkar," she said, "a species that has hunted our kind for generations. They believe our abilities are an abomination against nature. They seek to eradicate us and any who might share our gifts." Liam felt cold fear grip his stomach. "They want to kill us." "Not immediately," Nyx said. "They will first attempt to capture us, to study us, to learn our secrets so they might better destroy our kind. They are particularly interested in our genetic research." "Why haven't I heard of them before?" Liam asked. "If they've been hunting your people." "The Drakkar rarely venture to primitive systems," Vela explained. "Your world has little to offer them. No resources they value, no technology they cannot find elsewhere. But they must have detected our ship and followed us here." Nyx led Liam and Lyra through corridors now bathed in pulsing red emergency lights. The ship shuddered again as another impact struck its shields. Other alien women rushed past them, heading to their emergency stations. Their normally calm faces now showed fear and determination. "We must reach the core chamber," Nyx said, her voice tight with urgency. "It is the most protected area of the ship, and where our collective abilities are strongest." "What are these Drakkar?" Liam asked as they hurried along. "Why do they hate your people so much?" Nyx glanced at him, her silver eyes reflecting the red warning lights. "They believe that natural evolution should not be tampered with," she explained. "That species should develop only along predetermined paths. Any deviation, any enhancement is seen as corruption. Their religion teaches that such corruption leads to the destruction of all life. That sounds like fanaticism." Liam said. "It is," Lyra agreed. "But dangerous fanaticism. Their technology is advanced. Their warriors utterly devoted to their cause. They have hunted our kind across a dozen star systems, nearly wiped us out once before." The ship rocked violently, throwing them against the wall. Liam helped Lyra regain her balance as Nyx checked a small device. On her wrist, "Our shields are failing," she said. "We must hurry." They reached a large circular door unlike any Liam had seen on the ship so far. It was made of what looked like solid metal with strange symbols carved into its surface. Nyx placed her hand On a panel beside the door, the symbols glowed in sequence and the massive door slid open. Inside was a vast chamber. The ceiling soared at least 50 feet high, dominated by a massive crystal structure that pulsed with blue light. The walls were lined with what looked like control stations, but unlike those in the command center, these had no screens or buttons, only smooth surfaces that glowed with inner light. The floor was a mosaic of intricate patterns that seemed to shift and flow beneath their feet. Dozens of alien women were already gathered in the chamber. Some stood at the control stations, their hands hovering over the glowing surfaces. Others formed circles in the center beneath the crystal, focusing their attention upward. "This is the heart of our ship," Nix explained. "The place where our collective abilities are amplified and directed. It powers our most critical systems." Liam stared in wonder at the massive crystal. "It seems more like magic than technology, to your kind perhaps," Lyra said. "But it is science advanced beyond what humans have yet discovered. The crystal responds to our mental energy, focusing and amplifying it." Another alien woman approached them. Her skin was deep red with black markings across her face. Her eyes were gold like Lyra's, but with a fiery intensity. Nix, the newcomer, said, "The Drakkar ship has deployed boarding craft. Our outer defenses are failing." "Thank you, Rena," Nix replied. She turned to Liam. "The situation has become more urgent than we anticipated," she said. "We cannot wait for gradual training. We must attempt to awaken your abilities now fully and immediately. The risk," Lyra began, "is necessary." Nix cut her off. "We need every advantage. We cannot allow the Drakkar to capture this ship," or Liam swallowed hard. "What do I need to do?" "Follow me." Nix led him to the center of the chamber, directly beneath the massive crystal. Several alien women moved aside, creating a space for him. Nix positioned Liam in the exact center, then arranged 7 of her people in a circle around him, including Lyra, Vela, Mirakira, and Zara. "The process will be intense," Nix warned. "It may be painful. Your mind will resist the rapid awakening. We will guide you, but ultimately, you must embrace the change, accept the power." Liam nodded, his mouth dry with fear, but also anticipation. "Whatever happens," he said, "I consent." Nix joined the circle, completing it. The 7 aliens joined hands around Liam. The crystal above began to pulse faster in time with their breathing. The patterns on the floor beneath Liam glowed brighter, flowing toward him like water seeking its level. "Close your eyes," Nix's voice commanded. "Focus on your breathing. Feel the energy around you." Liam did as instructed, closing his eyes and taking deep breaths. At first he felt nothing. Then slowly a tingling began in his feet, spreading upward through his legs, his torso, his arms, his head. It wasn't painful exactly, but intense, like pins and needles multiplied 1,000-fold. The ship shuddered again, more violently than before. In the distance, Liam could hear alarms blaring, shouts of warning, but they seemed far away, disconnected from his reality, which had narrowed to the circle. The energy, the growing power within him. Now Nick's voice seemed to come from inside his head rather than his ears. "Reach for the power, open yourself to it. Do not resist." Liam tried to follow her instructions, but fear held him back. What if it was too much? What if it destroyed him, changed him into something no longer human? "You must trust us." Lyra's voice joined Nick's in his mind. "What we awaken is already within you. It is part of you. We are simply bringing it to the surface." The tingling intensified, becoming almost painful. Electric currents seemed to race along his nerves. His muscles tightened, then relaxed in waves. His heartbeat accelerated, matching the pulsing of the crystal above. And then pain, real pain, shot through him. His back arched, his hands clenched into fists. He wanted to scream, but couldn't draw breath. It felt as though every cell in his body was being torn apart and reassembled. "Do not fight it," Nick's voice commanded. "Surrender to it." Easy for you to say, Liam thought, but he tried to relax, to accept the pain, to flow with it, rather than against it. Something shifted inside him like a lock opening. A door he hadn't known existed, swinging wide. Energy rushed into him through that door, filling him, overwhelming him. His vision, though his eyes remained closed, exploded with colors he had never seen before. His hearing expanded until he could detect the heartbeats of everyone in the room, the hum of the ship, the distant explosions as the Drakkar weapons found their marks. And beyond the physical senses came something else. Awareness, a connection to the energy around him, to the ship, to the aliens in the circle, to the very fabric of reality. He could feel the patterns of energy, the flows and eddies, the connections between all things. The pain receded, replaced by a sense of power so vast it terrified him. He could feel it building within him, seeking release. "Open your eyes," Nix's voice commanded. Now Liam opened his eyes. The world had changed. He could see energy flowing around him, through the crystal, through the aliens in the circle, through the very air itself. The patterns on the floor were no longer just designs but complex equations, formulas of power that he somehow understood instinctively. The circle of aliens stared at him, their faces showing a mixture of awe and fear. Liam realized he was floating several inches above the floor. Energy crackled around his hands, blue-white lightning dancing between his fingers. What he began, but his voice sounded strange, vibrating with power. Before anyone could answer, the chamber doors burst open. Several creatures rushed in. Unlike the tall, slender forms of Nix people, these were massive, hulking beings with thick limbs and heavy armor. Their skin was gray and mottled with what looked like metal plates embedded in their flesh. Their eyes glowed red beneath heavy brows. They carried weapons, strange rifles that hummed with dark energy, Drakkar warriors. Nix said, her voice tight with fear. The lead Drakkar raised its weapon, pointing it at the circle of aliens, energy gathered at the eye, barrels tip-pulsing with malevolent purpose. Abominations, its voice rasped through what must have been a translator. You will surrender your research and yourselves for purification. Never, Nix replied, stepping forward. You will not touch our ship or our people. The Drakkar made a sound like grinding metal, perhaps laughter. Then we will take what we want from your corpses, it said, and raised its weapon. Time seemed to slow for Liam. He could see the energy building, and the Drakkar's weapon could sense its purpose, its destructive potential. He knew without being told that it would kill Nix instantly if it struck her. Without conscious thought, Liam raised his hand. Energy surged through him from that newly opened door, within his mind, flowing down. His arm to his fingertips, a shield of blue light formed before Nix, just as the Drakkar fired. Its weapon discharged a beam of red energy that struck Liam's shield and scattered harmlessly in all directions. The Drakkar staggered back in surprise, its red eyes fixed on Liam. Impossible, it growled. A human with the corruption. Liam floated forward, placing himself between the aliens who had awakened his abilities and the creatures who threatened them. Power continued to build within him, seeking expression. Leave this ship, he said, his voice resonating with that same power. I don't want to hurt you. The Drakkar snarled, revealing rows of metallic teeth. You are an abomination, it said. Worse than these others. A human tainted with their corruption. You must be destroyed. It raised its weapon again. This time all the Drakkar fired at once. Multiple beams of deadly energy streaked toward Liam. Without thinking, he threw up both hands. The energy within him responded, flowing outward, creating not just a shield but a wave of force that caught the beams and sent them back toward their sources. 3 of the Drakkar were struck by their own weapons. Their armor cracked. Energy poured from the fractures as they fell. The remaining Drakkar backed away, their red eyes wide with what might have been fear. Even the lead warrior seemed hesitant now. What are you? It demanded. Liam honestly didn't know. The power flowing through him felt both foreign and familiar, as though it had always been part of him, waiting to be awakened. Could feel it changing him, his mind expanding, his awareness growing. He could sense the entire ship now, every person on it, every system. The approaching Drakkar vessels, the damaged sections. Liam floated in darkness, disconnected from his body, from time, from reality itself. Occasionally voices reached him, distant, echoing as though coming from the bottom of a deep well. His neural pathways are stabilizing. The transformation is progressing. Faster than anticipated, he should not have been able to fold space. Not without centuries of training, yet he did. What does this mean for our people? For all people. Gradually sensation returned. First, the awareness of his own body, his limbs heavy, his skin tingling, his heartbeat strong and steady. Then external sensations, the softness beneath him, the cool air against his face, the subtle hum of the ship around him. Liam opened his eyes slowly. The light seemed unusually bright colors, more vivid than he remembered. He lay on a bed in what appeared to be a medical chamber. Screens displayed data he somehow understood, showing his vital signs. Brain activity. Energy levels. Nyx sat beside him, her silver eyes watching him intently. She wore simple robes of white, her silver hair contained in an elaborate braid. "You are awake," she said. Her voice sounded different, richer with harmonics he had never noticed before. "How long was I unconscious?" Liam asked. His own voice surprised him. It seemed deeper, more resonant. 3 of your Earth days, Nyx replied. The energy expenditure was enormous. Your body and mind needed time to adapt to recover. The memories came flooding back. The Drakkar attack, the circle, the awakening of power within him, the vortex, in space. What did I do? Liam asked, sitting up slowly. The Drakkar ship, I sent it somewhere. You folded space. Nyx said, her voice filled with wonder. You created a wormhole, a temporary passage between points in space-time. You sent the Drakkar vessel 5 light-years away, near a neutron star we have mapped but never visited. Is that even possible? For our kind at the height of our abilities? Yes, Nyx said, but it took our most powerful adepts decades of training to master such skills. You did it instinctively, without training, with only the raw power we awakened within you. Liam looked down at his hands. They appeared unchanged, yet he could feel the difference. Energy flowed through them, through his entire body. Not the overwhelming flood from before, but a steady current contained him. Different now, aren't? Yes, Nyx confirmed. The awakening changed you. The dormant genetic sequences are now fully active. Your neural pathways have been rewired to accommodate the abilities. Your perception, your cognition, your very consciousness has been altered. Am I still human? Nyx seemed to consider the question. You are still yourself, she said. Still Liam. But more. Your humanity has not been lost but expanded. Your potential unlocked. Liam swung his legs over the side of the bed, testing his strength. He felt strong, actually stronger than before, more aware, more alive. Every sensation seemed heightened, every thought clearer. What happened after I collapsed, he asked. The Drakkar ship vanished. Nyx said, we repaired our most critical systems and moved to a safer position. We have been monitoring Earth communications, but there is no indication that your people detected either our presence or the confrontation and your people. How do they see me now? Nyx hesitated. There is debate, she admitted. Some fear what you have become. The power you displayed exceeded anything we have witnessed in generations. Others see you as the salvation of our kind, proof that our abilities can be restored, perhaps even enhanced. And what do you think? I think you are a miracle, Nyx said simply. A bridge between our peoples, a new path forward. The abilities that took my ancestors lifetimes to master came to you in moments. Your human mind, your human spirit combined with our genetic gifts has created something unique, something unprecedented, a hybrid. Liam suggested, something better than either alone. Nyx corrected. Lyra entered the chamber, her green skin glowing with health. Her gold eyes widened when she saw Liam, sitting up. You should not be moving so soon, she scolded, but her voice held warmth. Your recovery has been remarkable. Liam smiled at her. I feel fine, he said. Better than fine. Actually, Lyra approached, checking the monitors. We expected recovery to take weeks, she said. Your human physiology continues to surprise us. Can I get up? Liam asked. I want to see what else has changed. What else I can do? Nick's expression grew serious. There is much you need to learn. She said, the abilities you now possess are powerful, dangerous. You must learn control discipline. Without them, you could harm yourself or others. I understand, Liam said. But I can't just lie here. I need to move to think. Nix and Lyra exchanged glances. Then Nix nodded. Very well, she said. But we will proceed cautiously. One step at a time. With their help, Liam stood. His legs felt strong, steady. Energy seemed to flow upward from the floor through his body. He could sense the ship around him, the people within it, the systems functioning. He could feel Earth below still blue and beautiful, the sun beyond it burning with energies he now perceived in new ways. In the days that followed, Liam began training with Nix and her sisters. Not the frantic, accelerated process from before, but careful, methodical instruction. He learned to control the energy within him, to direct it with precision. He discovered he could move objects with his mind, first small things, then larger ones. He could sense emotions, feel the energy of living beings, perceive the subtle currents of power that flowed through all things. He learned to create shields of force, to manipulate light and sound, to heal minor injuries with a touch. Most remarkably, he found he could fold space on a small scale, moving objects instantly from one place to another, a skill that even Nick's most gifted sisters could not match. But the more he learned, the more questions formed in his mind. Questions about his future, about Earth, about his place in a universe suddenly much larger and stranger than he'd ever imagined. One day, as he practiced with Mira, learning to manipulate energy fields, he finally voiced these thoughts. What happens now? He asked. Where do I go from here? Mira paused, her ice blue eyes studying him. That is for you to decide, she said. Your abilities give you options few humans have ever possessed. You could remain with us, continue learning, travel to our homeworld. Perhaps help us restore what our people are losing, or you could return to Earth. Mira said, share your gifts. There, guide your people toward a new understanding of their potential. Both paths seemed impossible. Liam knew he could never return to his old life. His job, his apartment, his friends, all would be foreign to him now. How could he explain what had happened, what he had become? And staying with the aliens, leaving Earth behind forever. That too seemed unthinkable. There's a third option, isn't there? Liam said, something between those extremes. Mira tilted her head. Perhaps. What did you have in mind later? That day, Liam met with Nix and the ship's council in the great chamber. The crystal above pulsed with energy as he explained his proposal. I want to serve as a bridge, he said. Between our peoples. Not openly. Not yet. Humanity isn't ready for that kind of revelation. But I could work quietly, using my abilities to help where needed. Guiding, preparing Earth for eventual contact. And what of us? Nix asked. Would you share what you've learned? Help us understand how your human nature has enhanced our genetic gifts. Yes. Liam said I would return periodically, share my experiences, my insights, perhaps in time identify others like me, other humans with dormant potential. The council debated his proposal. Some argued against it, saying humanity was too primitive, too violent, too unpredictable. Others supported him, seeing the potential for mutual benefit, for growth and understanding. In the end, Nix made the final decision. We will support your path, she said. Though it is not without risk, it offers hope for both our peoples. The preparations took another week. Earth clothes were replicated, technology disguised to appear human, but function far beyond Earth. Science arrangements made for communication between Liam and the ship, which would remain in the outer solar system, monitoring, observing on. His last night aboard, Lyra came to his quarters. Her green skin seemed to glow in the soft light. Her gold eyes held emotions. Liam could now perceive clearly. Concern, hope, affection. Are you certain of this path? She asked. Liam nodded. As certain as I can be, he said. I belong to both worlds now. Not fully human, not one of your kind. Something new? I need to discover what that means. What purpose it serves. Lyra approached him, placing a hand on his chest above his heart. Your human heart still beats, she said, but with new rhythms, new purposes. Remember that balance. It is your strength. The next morning, Liam stood in the transport chamber wearing Earth clothes, carrying what appeared to be an ordinary backpack, but contained technology centuries beyond anything on his planet. Nyx, Lyra, Mira, and the others gathered to say goodbye. This is not an ending, Nyx said, but a beginning. A new chapter for both our peoples. Liam nodded, unable to find words adequate for. The moment these beings had changed him awakened him to possibilities he'd never imagined. They had become in a real sense his family. He'll be back, he promised. We know, Lyra said, touching his hand briefly. We will be watching. Waiting. Liam stepped onto the transport platform. Energy gathered around him. The ship and its occupants began to fade from view. The last thing he saw was Nyx's face, her silver eyes reflecting the blue light of the transport beam. He materialized in the forest, at the exact spot where he'd been taken weeks before. Though according to Nyx, only 3 days had passed on Earth. Time flowed differently aboard their vessel, another mystery he had yet to understand.